What's going on, guys? It's your man, Big Vegg, and why they call me Big Vegg? Come on, man, because I'm always doing big things. I'm your Rocarazzi Memoir Ambassadors, going down. It's something real serious, okay? I love getting into situations like this. So first of all, we at BYBNYC, okay? Dope space for y'all photographers and all that. Make sure y'all book them and come in here and do y'all thing. I'm here with Gio, though. Black owned, fashion is creative. Let me not, let me correct myself.
Right,
but what's up with you, brother? How are you?
How you feeling, brother? How you feeling, G?
I'm blessed, man. How are you? You good?
Yeah, we are at BYBNYC.
Right. Yo. That shit sound like a bar. You know what I'm saying, my man? Yo.
I said it right?
I think you said it right. I saw, because at first I didn't say it right. I just said it a couple times.
BYBNYC.
That's what it is. So, Gio, you are creative, but you do fashion designing. You are a graphic designer. What's the name of your brand?
Brand is called FVN Clothing, fun clothing. It's many ways people recognize it and know it as. In Brooklyn based.
Brooklyn in the house.
Yeah, Brooklyn NYC. What's up?
Okay, that's what's up.
We do customization mainly, but working with other creators and businesses.
Right.
We're able to graphically design their work and then print them. We just do that whole process.
Okay, that's what's up. How long have you been in operation with this brand?
Well, the brand has been around for 7 years. August 23rd, May 7 years. So just at that, 7 is like
August 23rd that passed.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah.
See, I was telling the brother off camera. The first 5 years is the hill.
Right.
You go through the mistakes. You take the L's, which are not necessarily losses, they're lessons.
Lessons, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Blessings, yeah.
But yeah, the first five years is like really like what you learn, and you're really in the process of understanding where you're trying to go, your goals long term.
Right.
Because I feel like when you start a business, like it's important you want to be around for a while.
You do. I mean, that's the separation though. A lot of people build or make businesses, and others build brands. That's what separates and like the longevity of everything.
Right.
A brand will last and has a legacy.
Right. And in sense of I guess a trend would come and go, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Some brands come out based on a trend.
That's what I'm saying. Like they come and go, and then so okay, that's what's up. So you've been in operation for 7 years. Talk about how you got into, I guess, like how everything started.
Right. So I started in high school actually. I wasn't looking at it as a business. I was just trying to do something that a little different because I always saw like the wave and trends people were on. So I just kind of did the opposite. I actually started with like a jean jacket.
Okay.
And then like jackets and like fall weather, spring weather, like my specialty, windbreakers.
Okay.
But I wasn't thinking about business wise. So that passed. People loved it, but I still didn't see where I was going with it. I was just another expression of art I was trying to do.
Right.
And then when I got to college, one of my peoples, he has actually a detailing shop.
Oh.
So both of us still had, both of us was on that entrepreneurial like mindset.
On that wave.
Yeah. So he told me.
Cell phoning.
Yeah. So he told me like, yo, he saw what I did one time. So he's like, yo, make a name for it. Go.
Right.
Try and break it to life. So that's when I started it. Yeah.
Talk about the name. Is there a special meaning behind the name?
It
sounds self-explanatory, but just in case they don't get it.
Nah, for sure. The brand went through different stages. Right now, the slogan is "Find Your Balance." The brand is spelled FVN. One of the reasons was the original logo was a triangle. So that was just me trying to be creative and just have all sharp edges with that. But then as I also did my knowledge and research, you find out that a lot of you know, carvings had V's representing or replacement of the U. So that's where a lot of the you know, symbolism, and maybe it could have been something I was subconsciously knew, or
Right.
but
It just came to you.
Yeah,
In a
it all
sense.
worked out. Yeah, and it became a thing like FVN. It's like people say it like that.
Right. That's like a thing, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it's like became his home name, which
Hey,
is kind of dope.
that's what's up. What are some hurdles that you had to go through? You know, like I told you, the first 5 years is the hill, right?
Yeah.
That we go up, that we come up as a creative. What are some hurdles that you had to get through to get to 7 years?
I mean, hurdle just finding the right idea, finding people that believe in you. That's
People that are on the same page,
same frequency.
That's
all
not
that.
trying to override you or fight you or say no, I don't like that, or you know what I'm saying?
Right, but it's also a battle with yourself, because even through all those multiple conversations, you still gotta like believe and feel what's natural to what you're doing.
Right.
So whatever artistic, it could be the crappiest thing, but some audience is gonna find
Someone
it.
else is gonna like it.
Someone's
like
gonna like
like it could be whack to you,
Yeah,
but to some other person,
it's like the best
like it's
thing.
the greatest thing. It's a chaos emerald, right?
Right. That's a fact.
Right.
So that's just trusting your intuition with that. And I had to practice trusting like the artistic intuition I had, and then pressing them out. 'Cause a lot of things were held back because either my fallbacks or mental spaces, things of that nature. So it's always a battle with that, because even in business, a lot of people, even if they don't acknowledge it, they do cross different mental breakthroughs and whatnot.
Right. And you always want to challenge yourself, and you always want to try to reinvent yourself, stay relevant, right?
Stay relevant. Find your audience.
Right.
A lot of that is a challenge.
And I think that's the hardest part, finding your audience, because there's so many people out there who's, especially in this era, everybody's doing clothing, everybody's shooting, everybody's interviewing. You know what I'm saying?
I just wrote about that.
Right.
And I really think the fake is gonna, fade off, because a lot of people are doing it because they may have money to buy.
Right. Or because they think it's cool.
Yeah, they think that's what people like.
Right. So let me just do it because.
Right. But for example, I just picked up a camera recently, and it's because I always had like a good eye of capturing stuff. So
Okay.
I want to bring that into the brand.
Okay.
And also capture certain things and with my eye. Now,
Right.
as an artist and a creator.
Right.
So not only expand my brand, but expresses different ways I can, acknowledge and say things.
Speaking on that last point, bro, because I was going somewhere that was kind of dope, right? In this day and age, everything is so like accessible, right? Like people could get a camera easily. Could go into B&H, get a camera, right? People could rent a space out to do their photography. You go to BYBNYC to get your photography done and all that, right? People could start to become a fashion designer. You know what I'm saying? Could become a graphic designer. Like all these programs, all these stuff is all at our hand tips, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my question to you is, how is it you stand out, you think, you know what I'm saying, in your perspective, in your opinion?
My opinion. Well, one of the things I did start doing was buying my own machinery, so just like I would say producers and things like that, they start getting their own computers, their own
So there's no middleman.
There's no middleman. So with that, that's when I started. Well, I always wanted to do custom, so that's kind of where you started. I didn't start with a brand per se. I always started with something that I can produce for other people.
Right.
And then
build your own.
Yeah.
From the ground up.
Right. So that's one thing I would say. A lot of brands still outsourcing.
Right.
Which is not a problem, but then you have to flip the prices. So with my brand as well, like I always wanted to keep the price convenient for customization, because that was always my problem. Like you wanted to get like a varsity jacket or something like that,
right?
And to get patches, all that is good quality. It's great quality, but
it costs money though.
For customization,
you gotta have a budget, yo.
You
know what I'm saying?
A whole game plan, like,
right?
So that I didn't want for people. I wanted even businesses and brands or whatever case was to have an outlet to build, slowly up and get their audience.
Dope.
and create their own prices. I don't care. I set my price,
Right.
but y'all, how you flip,
Right.
because that's all it is at the end of the day.
That's what it is. You taught yourself how to be a graphic designer. Like you taught yourself graphic designing.
Yeah, basically.
Like how did you get into that? I mean, obviously, like you kind of went over it in the last question. Like obviously
No.
being self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us the story of how you became the graphic designer, so you could kind of
So basically,
make your own logos, make your
yeah.
own brand, right?
When I first started, I was cutting out the letters with a X-Acto knife. So by hand.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I found out about the cutter. So then when I went to the cutter, then I realized where I can like get certain images, stencils. But with that, I still had to be creative. So I was combining a lot of images together to get my point out. So then the next level up from there is to create a design from scratch, if anything, as close as possible.
Yeah.
Just like Illustrator, you know.
Yeah.
things of that
Illustrator,
nature.
Photoshop.
Yeah, which are pretty still simple. And then when you look at it, they give you a lot of tools. And the tools, that set is so advanced where you can get pretty close depending on how much time you want to put into it. So I even started experimenting, like turning people into cartoons, because that skill. And then, learning how to create, because you could build something from ground up, which a lot of my things and pieces of the brand were like figuring out from ground up, learning the software and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't take the time.
Right. And people will like give up like the first try, like because these programs could be complicated.
Yeah.
But you have to learn. You have to sit there and understand. I mean, YouTube is your friend. YouTube University, right?
Yeah, YouTube
YouTube
YouTube, that got me through math classes, all that.
Word up, they got everything on YouTube, right?
Right.
How long have you been doing graphic designing?
I would say about
Approximately.
4 or 5 years.
So 5 years plus.
Yeah, because it's about the same time as the brand, because
when you started, kind of, right?
A lot of things had to advance quickly and pick up.
What is your, like, how do you get into your zone when you want to create, like, for example, like, if I was to ask a rapper this, like, what is, like, the zone, like, what is the studio zone? Like, you got to have girls, you got to have liquor, you got to have ganja, like, or is it just you and the engineer? Like, what is the setting when you got to sit down and kind of create, whether it be graphic designing, clothing, like, what is, like, what's there? Like, what's there in the room? Like, is it just you and the machine? Are you sitting down, like, do you scribble a little bit and then turn that into, then you go to Illustrator? Like, what's the formula for you?
It's not a crazy long process, but I would say ideas always kind of like flash through my head. Or if I see something, I'll try and like write it down.
Write it down so you come to it later when you get back to the spot.
As far as like a piece that I want to push and like an idea, like right now, an idea like my circle is small, will keep that same energy. That's an idea like I had to sit, and once I would say like between the first 3 drafts, I find something, or I like the style that it comes out of, the font.
Are you ready to
like
push
that.
forward, basically?
Now I'm kind of ready to push forward. Where it might be little details, but I don't try to keep it too complicated or too much, because then you lose what you're trying to do, the message. It's just too distracting.
I hear that.
So that's when people gotta learn marketing and all those different areas of business, because that's how they push their products.
Right. Let's talk about the business, right? Because we've been talking about the creative juices, right? Getting creative and all that.
Yeah.
How important it is to know the business. I mean, like you said, marketing, promotion, connecting with people, networking. Like how, talk about how important of it, is it being, in that groove, you know what I'm saying? Like knowing business, like knowing the business in order to push forward, get a profit so you can put back into your business and build even more better and grow. Like, talk about the importance of knowing business, being a business.
It's definitely, I mean, if anybody's ever sold anything, see, that's the problem with a lot of people too. They never sold an item where they created a value for it and whatever value they put for it and then spit it back. So that's one thing that where like I actually got in trouble for this when I was like younger. I flipped a Pokemon card.
Oh, word?
For like $50.
Oh, word?
For like some And like that was my first like exchange of something I had and someone else saw it for more value.
Okay.
So
Ah.
yeah, so then you just build that. But I mean, I was young, so I was buying candy with it. And shit.
Right.
Like, I didn't.
You
I
was young. You were young and
yeah,
dumb.
But as I went older and things like that, it becomes a balance too of knowing what you're selling, not trying to put too much of a perception on it, and a little, I don't know how to put it, but just gloss it up. Right. You want to sell real quality.
Right.
Like that. So
I hear that, bro. I definitely hear that. That's what it is, man. What are some goals you have? I mean, I ask this to all creatives, like, like, for example, if you was an artist, like, some artists' goals are to go diamond, to sell 10 million, 2 million records, to tour overseas, you know what I'm saying, or just to make good music. Like, what are some goals that you have for your company, for your brand, that you want to achieve for the future and the near future?
Right. So, I mean, the ultimate goal is, it's goal kind of what it was always from the ground up. That's why it's continuing to grow the way it's been. Is constantly connect with creators and whoever want to collab. We just build on different projects, things like that. Keeping that energy. I mean, the brand is involved with so many different things. Like we stepping into anime, kind of around music, around poets and different agendas and art forms.
Right, art forms, different creatives.
Yeah, and that's what
different creative juices.
Different creative juices, and that allows everything, other people to grow their own enterprise, their own business, and let them do their thing while we do our thing. And it's just creating that environment, that space, that workshop kind of. A lot of people, especially I'm hearing it more and more. I mean, that's always been a problem, but people not having the access to someone like that. It's always like a gap. Especially with our community, there's always like a big gap. Right. Starting to hear some rappers go back to their communities and like build schools or like spaces.
Right, and most don't.
Yeah, most don't. That is
no disrespect, but we keeping it real, right? Like, once MCs blow up, they bounce, you know what I mean? They go to a whole
different realm,
big house or whatever. And it is what it is. You earned that, you deserve it, but you are supposed to. You're obligated to get back to your hood. At
least figure out how they can all connect.
Right. Get back to your community, right?
Yeah.
So everybody grows with you. You know what I mean?
That's why with knowledge, I don't mind when people ask me like, how you do because at the end of the day, like
each one teach one.
You get it, I get it.
Right.
Like if you can grow to the level, and everything like that.
And then sometimes what you teach, that brother or sister, they could teach you something that you didn't know about that situation, and then you grow as well.
Those are the best.
So it kind of bounces, right?
It's the best experiences. That's why I always like keep an ear out because you don't know what. Because
you
they
don't know.
Don't know.
Word. That's what it is, man. Let's go back to your brand. Like, what are some things that you not focus on, but what are some of the accessories that you create for your brand? Like, talk about the things like hats. You talking about jackets. Yeah. What are some things like if someone obviously will make sure you throw your website out there and the Instagram and all that stuff. But if there was a tap into you and your movement, what are some accessories that you are making for your brand?
Right. I mean, well, the brand is custom, so we touch on everything. We do. From sneakers, I did a customized sneaker.
Really?
Jean jackets, hoodies, t-shirts, caps, bucket hats,
everything.
Shirts. Yeah, anything that whatever we're working with can touch. I even did a canvas.
Can you do my fedora?
I can do your fedora. I was looking at it actually. I was let me see if I could.
About that.
Let me see if I could. Yeah.
We gonna talk about that. Hey, I might have to holler at the homie. You might have to hook me up with a little, you know what I mean? We'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I like that. But so if someone was to come to you, they could basically customize almost anything.
Yeah, if they don't have their logo, most people, some people business-wise, they have a logo.
Right. But if they don't, you can make that.
That's what some people even start with me with their, like, yo, can you build a logo?
From the get-go, from the bottom.
Yeah, and I try and give them something that at least they can carry for a good 7 years.
Longevity.
Like a good logo that's branded looking. Right. So they don't have to change it because a lot of people change their brand.
They do. Like someone makes a logo, then 2 years later they have to change it because of certain terms or name or something happens or whatever. Yeah. Right.
And then people lose their audience.
Right, because it switches up like, oh, but you were just blah 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 a year ago. Like, what happened? What's going on? Fact. Right. That's what's up.
Confuse people, you don't know who the person is.
Right.
People connect the brand with the face or whatever. So,
Right.
That's why
I hear
one
that.
thing a lot of people are scared with like being sued or this, that, and third, but I was able to build relationships with my clients and just people that I work with. So
Right.
wherever I go, I hope that people
Right.
will go. I don't have to worry about that.
There you go. Give some. All right. So you've been in the game for 7 years as far as the brand and all that. Give some advice to those that are watching right now. I mean, graphic designer, fashion designer, creative that just creates, right? 7 years running. Give some advice to those that might be in the same situation, that might be struggling, that might be sitting in front of Illustrator, but they give up the first 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But now they checking out this interview and they're like, oh, my brother here is doing Illustrator. You know what I'm saying? Give some advice to those that might be just running into the same hurdles that you ran into.
Okay, so I would say get out your head. That's like such a thing that creators, artists, whatever. Get out your head. I just met someone the other day, like, the way she was talking, I can tell like she wanna be somewhere with this art form, but the words coming out was holding him back, and I'm just like, those aren't connecting. So you gotta get out your head. You gotta be willing and humble yourself to learn.
Right.
And also do stuff for free. You gotta
to build that chemistry with certain people.
Build your own like perfection, because you're just working at a craft and constantly you perfect it, it's gonna come out and grow. And then you find out, because a lot of people are still finding out where they want to go as well.
Right.
With their art.
Their path.
Yeah, their path. They might go into one or want to force themselves into one, but eventually they end up drawing or painting or something.
Right. Like, they take a detour.
Yeah, a detour, which is cool. So be patient with that process as well.
Patience
is a big thing.
Big virtue.
I definitely feel like I had, and that's why a lot of people do belly up and do something else, because a lot of patience and like understanding like bad and good times come with business.
That's just what it is. No matter what. Right.
I would say if anything like that, because patience and just be willing to learn and absorb, because you have to be able to search for that knowledge, for that next level. Just saying I did, like with the vinyl or whatever case, it was a very low quality, but I wanted to figure out what Nike and Adidas were using.
Right.
So
how did they become successful? Let's do research on those that have achieved the success.
A little bit. I would say that.
Not follow them, but just do research to see, okay, that's their marketing tool, or that's how they did it. I'm not going to clone them,
right?
But I'm gonna do it my way,
right?
But I want to see how they did it, and see what's up.
Word. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Definitely look at Steve Jobs, people like them, like
right?
People that
creator of the iPhone, like we're at iPhone 11, right? And he's still, he's like Tupac right now. Like
even,
Tupac died, and like 10 projects dropped after he passed. You know what I'm saying? Steve died, and he died when iPhone, I think the 8 or 9 came out. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying like 2 years later we're at iPhone 11, and he's not. And he's, you know what I'm saying? Like his legacy continues through his death.
But the creation or the creative of the iPhone is gonna maybe stop because him.
Right. Because he's like the main. He's the brain.
He's the brain.
Right.
And the artist behind it. I feel like the iPhones are gonna be just like a.
Oh yeah, there's no growth. You mean there's not gonna be any growth?
It's gonna be a stunt of growth.
Right.
Because he was the one that
was really pushing that.
Pushing it. He brought it back to life when it was doing bad. Because
Right.
Businesses.
It's like God forbid if Bill Gates dies. Yeah. That's Microsoft. Right? So it's like Xbox 485 comes out. That joint's that might not be a growth. That might be the growth situation, right? Like it might die out, but that's what it is. Tell people if they want to tap into your brand, if they wanted to holler at you about the custom designing, they wanted to holler at you about graphic designing, if they wanted to talk to you about building something and creating something, how can they get in touch with you as far as your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever? If you have a website, let's start with that because I want all the traffic to go to that. But, we could do the Instagram and third-party joints too, but talk about it.
I definitely mentioned like Instagram because definitely people been able to see like my work.
Okay.
And like
through
behind
Instagram.
the scenes, and a lot of my audience kind of build off of that. So that's FVN clothing.
Spell that. I mean, it's self-explanatory, but
Nah, I'm gonna spell it. For
sure. Please, because
no dots, no
dots, underscores.
No, it's F as in fun, V as in vase, N as in Nancy.
There you go. In clothing, right?
Yeah.
Clothing spelled regularly?
Yep, clothing spelled regularly.
Okay.
And then some people could email me fvn.clothing@gmail.com.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm mainly able to be reached and
Instagram.
you guys, yeah, I mean all of those for sure.
Okay,
And,
okay.
But mainly Instagram.
Instagram, email.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. All those social media, the same thing.
Yeah.
At FVN Clothing.
There you go.
Twitter, Facebook.
All that.
Snapchat. Yeah.
There you go. Make sure you guys follow the brother, man. He's doing his thing, man. Black-owned business. I love connecting with my brothers, my sisters that's doing their thing.
Yep.
This was not this was not a hesitation. Yo, you could tell him I came here coming to check this spot out, and I'm like, yo, do you want to do an interview? Like at first he was hesitant. He was like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But then the queen hit, I was a poet. He was like, you should just do it. Yo, come on, he's here already. And I'm like, yo, let's do it. He's like, all right, fine, let's do it. So we did it, right? You know what I mean? So it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Baby.
I love stories like this. You know, you're 7 years in the game. I wish you 200 years in the game, King.
I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? I point blank as I wish you longevity.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, we're going to stay connected. We're going to do what it do. Whatever you need from me, we could talk. Maybe, customize fedora too. You know what I mean? We'll talk. You know what I'm saying?
Wanting to do a fedora for a minute. That's what's
crazy.
Because my pops love fedoras.
I
want to get into that.
This is the universe. You see what the universe brings? Right? I'm trying to tell you something real serious. Last words for the people. You know what? All right, I got you. Nah. Shout out.
Shout out.
Give me some shout outs.
Do a little shout out. Shout out to Spill Records.
Shout out to
NYC Laws. Shout out to the FVN community.
Hey.
Shout out to Big Vegg community.
That's
me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to BYBNYC.
Hey.
Environment.
The bar. the one-liner bar.
NYC. Nah, but just everyone that's supporting and continue to support the vibes in the community. And just building that, because that's what's needed for the culture.
Right.
Point blank.
And we're going to leave it on that note. I'm your man, Big Vegg. I am your Rocarazzi Media Ambassador. My man, Gio. Black-owned business, a black-owned creative. Something real serious. Make sure y'all tap in and follow him, support him. My brother's doing the damn thing. Brooklyn's in the building. See y'all later. Peace.